First off, hello. So someone or something has sparked your interest in Q or to what the heck is going on in our country right now. Ever had that feeling that something in this world just isn't right? Well, friend, that's what we call friends in the movement. Buckle up. After you read this, there is no turning back. You are about to discover what a rabbit hole is in our movement, and it's one you will never forget. So grab your popcorn or snacks and drinks and just hold on, because I'm about to shatter everything you knew was true. We start with a Q primer video here. This video has some age on it, but it still rings true today. The video quality is a little lacking, but the content is what matters. See you on the other side.
Have you ever wondered why we go to war? Or why you never seem to be able to get out of debt? Why there is poverty, division, and crime? What if I told you there was a reason for it all? What if I told you it was done on purpose? What if I told you that those who were corrupting the world, poisoning our food, and igniting conflict were themselves about to be permanently eradicated from the earth? You might think that an idealistic fantasy. Well, let me tell you a story. We acknowledge there are criminals, of course. They rob your house, they steal your phone. They can murder you too if they think they can get away with it. We have all experienced criminals in one way or another. Criminals, as we know, are those who choose personal gain over the rights of others and have no regard for the law. But here is where you need to expand your thinking. Criminals can also succeed in business and politics and can be elected as our leaders. If a criminal became the president, imagine what they could achieve. They could use the full weight of their executive power to commit much larger crimes and ensure they and their friends were enriched to the fullest extent possible. A criminal president could create alliances with other criminal presidents and then collaborate on more global criminal activities. Anything goes. Drug running, human trafficking, whatever makes the big bucks. The 20th century was turbulent with war, economic disaster, famines, and displacement. We have always accepted these things as just human nature, and simply the way the world works. Something inevitable, and due to the weaknesses of human nature that drive us to these actions. This is where we were all tragically wrong. You are not a criminal. I'm not a criminal. So how can we just assume that it is human nature that is driving all this pain and misery? What if it wasn't human nature at all, and as a result of something more deliberate? We were taught that capitalism was the cause of a massive rich-poor divide and the reason for poverty, which in turn is the reason for war, crime, and starvation. Others were taught that communism, the system of equal wealth across all people, was really to blame for the mess. But you see, folks, it is none of these things. It is not our nature to fight and be racist. It is not in our nature to rob from others. What you must learn is that it was the criminals all along. Yes, they got power. More power than a criminal should ever have. They rose to the top of media companies that control our news and entertainment. They ascended to the top of the banking system, also to the Oval Office, to Brussels, to the Vatican, to the Crown. They crept in quietly. They became leaders of agricultural companies who have control over our food supply. Also big pharmaceutical companies, the ones we trust to help us when we're sick. Nobody stopped them, and they just recruited more criminals to help them. First, they accumulated the world's wealth. They invented a system of money called central banking, which lends money to governments with interest, placing countries into eternal debt. People's wealth got less. Their wealth got more. Much more. When a criminal is already as rich as they can get, then protecting their ill-gotten gains becomes the priority. Angry citizens tired of being poor are a major obstacle and can revolt if they suffer enough. The criminals needed to prevent this. So they diverted attention to the last remaining competitor, the people of the world. You and me. We were not happy being ruled by criminals and having to work 3 jobs just to survive. They know we won't accept it. So they use their control of the media to set black against white, woman against man, young against old, Muslim against Christian, They convinced us we were the problem so that we would fight and destroy ourselves. To get it done faster, they attacked all aspects of humanity that make us strong. Like family. Using their influence over culture, they popularized lifestyle choices that led to a surge in broken homes, lost youth, and substance abuse. I could talk all day about how else they deliberately weakened us, and it would turn your stomach. We were just trying to get on with living. So where are all the good guys? Good people just want to get married, have kids, make a living, and enjoy their liberty. Well, there were good guys. Many. One became the President of the United States in January 1961. He knew about these criminals and wanted them gone. He knew their intentions for us all, and he wanted to fight them. Sadly, he had no idea how powerful they had become. Reagan also had good intentions for the American people. He knew this criminal mafia controlled almost everything by this stage, including the powerful rogue intelligence agencies. His economic policies were promising, but the criminals needed a weak America to hold on to their power. Reagan was shown with a bullet that a growing U.S. economy and prosperous citizens were not what the criminals wanted. It was looking pretty grim for good people. Every time someone wanted to stand up and do the right thing, they got stopped. Were we ever to be freed? These criminals are also known as the Deep State, or Cabal, because of how they control things behind the scenes. Every president after Reagan was one of these Deep State criminals, and their empire got even stronger. With each bad president came new depths America and the world would sink. The world collapsed into darkness. Do you need me to tell you how? Destroyed factories, declining job numbers, sicker people, opioids, destruction of Iraq, Syria, and Yemen with pointless war, displacement of people into Europe, ISIS, terrorism, collapsed governments, poverty, and genocide. Total misery. Do you think that was inevitable? Hell no. Well, here is where things start to take a new turn. When the full picture comes to be known, it will forever be regarded as the greatest story ever told. Well, here is the top line. Some good people still held positions of power. They valued humanity and the rule of law. While the criminals discussed their game plan at the annual Bilderberg meetings, the good guys were making plans of their own. The information age was coming to change history forever, as the internet flooded into every home and appliances became smarter, and when people started carrying tracking devices, an opportunity to put an end to criminal control over the world was emerging. We became connected, trackable, and surveilled, but so did they. They became dependent, just like we did, on email, SMS, instant communication. It made crime much easier, but it also put them on a grid that, if accessed by the right people, would expose their crimes to the public and end their iron grip on us once and for all. In this new age of information, it was thought that the military should also have its own intelligence agency to focus on cybercrime and espionage. They called this the NSA, the National Security Agency. Here we had every phone call, email, and text from every device stored and archived. Whether it be someone making a doctor's appointment, or the Deep State setting up a massive heroin purchase from the Taliban. In the right hands, it would be enough information to expose the entire sinister criminal plot to rob us blind and wipe us out. Hold that thought. Now I need to explain the plan. The good guys were devising a plan to reclaim the world from the cabal and return it to the people. It would involve alliances with multiple countries, since the criminals had global rat lines, trade, and other infrastructure in place that would need their cooperation. It came down to two choices for America: launch a military coup to seize the government from whichever cabal puppet was in the White House at the time, or win legitimately, take control of the NSA, expose the criminals for what they are, and arrest them all. Obviously, the first option would be very troubling for the public. With people still preoccupied with cabal-engineered social issues, they would likely revolt and hurt themselves and others. No, it would have to be the latter. So they needed a candidate who could win, and who could win big. Many states like California had been so heavily inundated by criminals that even the voting machines were electronically set up to swing votes any which way. It would need to be a very decisive victory. Good patriots in the U.S. military and their global partners asked Trump to run for president so they could take back control of America legitimately without alarming the public. Trump was a good choice, obviously, because he overcame the voter fraud and won. But he was a patriot, and he was loved and admired by the public. He was not interested in joining the cabal because they hated America, and he did not agree with them on that point. As soon as he showed interest in taking power, they activated their media assets to viciously turn on him. That's when we saw the sudden hatred emerge. Even when he won, the cabal still had no idea what he was a part of, and the sophisticated plan that was about to unfold against them. Shocked at their loss, they mobilized their full arsenal of intelligence, media, money, and technology to try and take back power. There are people at the top of the DOJ and FBI then put together a plan to frame Trump and have him impeached. This is where we come back to the NSA again. All messages were stored and could be used to expose this plot and prevent Trump's overthrow. An entire book will be written about the first 2 years of Trump's presidency: false flag terror attacks, downed planes, missile alerts, assassination attempts. Here is the point. The world is currently experiencing a dramatic covert war of biblical proportions, literally the fight for Earth, between the forces of good and evil. I can't put it in simpler terms, but I can say it appears the good guys are winning. The cabal had complete control over North Korea. They hijacked the Kim dynasty, took them hostage, and worked to build up a nuclear arsenal to threaten the world. Kim Jong-un suddenly embracing peace was simply because the deep state were beaten and driven out. ISIS was also destroyed in the year following Trump's win. We are all starting to see the pattern now that enough time has passed, that our biggest global concerns are starting to recede, and peace is returning. It is all evidence that the good guys are winning the war. But we're still in the middle. While a lot is improving, it still puzzles many that most of these known criminals are still free, especially the higher-ups like Hillary Clinton, the Bushes, and Obama. That is coming in the next chapter of the story. That's why we have Q. The good guys with control over the NSA began the Q intelligence dissemination program to invoke an online grassroots movement that came to be called the Great Awakening. It started on underground internet channels and then moved to the mainstream. Q has been a fun distraction for those who follow world events and desire truth, but it is about to begin a much more important and necessary phase, keeping the public informed when the deep state war breaks out onto the surface. By this, I mean high-profile arrests. Yes, folks, the criminals I'm referring to are famous politicians, actors, singers, CEOs, and celebrities. People who have earned our trust, respect, and admiration. They have done very bad things that are all fully known and documented, and they will be severely punished. Those of us who have followed Q since the beginning will be here to help you make sense of the coming events. We are among the first to realize that our petty partisan divisions are just trivial distractions, and we are all enslaved by a hidden enemy. We realize that the problem was never capitalism or socialism, Democrat or Republican, black or white, Muslim or Christian. We know it was just very powerful criminals who had too much power. Fellow slaves, it's time to buckle your seatbelt, recognize your true enemy, and embrace a new future that we all owe to the brave patriots who risked their lives to achieve this victory against the greatest force of evil the world has ever known. May God bless America.
Welcome back. Shocked? If you need a minute before you continue, I understand. I needed a week before it really sank in. But if you're ready, so am I. So now that you just got a crash course in what the Q operation is, let's talk about it for a moment. On November 22nd, 1963, John F. Kennedy was killed. Shot in plain sight. Many of you wonder, why was he killed? Because he knew too much, and he was going to do exactly what Trump is doing right at this very moment. Destroy the deep state. He knew the first step was to get rid of the central banking system in the US, as that was the deep state's main lever of control in the US from here on out. When I say they, I am referring to the cabal, deep state, whatever you want to call it. But back to topic. They knew what Kennedy was up to, so a coup was initiated by the CIA. You will find this out in the coming JFK files. This was a complete shock, as Kennedy knew that the deep state was big but underestimated them. Big time. Shortly after, it is believed that the good generals in the armed forces got together and knew something had to be done, because if they could kill a president on national television, what was next? This is where our story goes dark for a good while, roughly until 2015. During this dark time, they were making plans to essentially enslave us all. But guess what? A counteroffensive was launched by our US military, dubbed the Q Op. President after JFK became as crooked as the other. During this time, the good guys were making their way into key spots within our government to establish control and finally attempt to overthrow them. The team attempted the overthrow again during the Reagan presidency. Step by step and inch by inch, the good guys were attempting to bring us out of their control. Then the attempt came on Reagan's life. It was a warning across the bow from them. Reagan bugged out. So the Q team carried on, staying vigilant to the plan, but again underestimated them. More planning was needed. So let's fast forward to 2015. Okay, need a break yet? Is what I'm saying making any sense looking back at our history yet? It should be. Knowing what you know now, it should be starting to resonate with you. But I digress. 2015, the Q team knew this was their last shot, because if Hillary had won, she would have finished off America and we would soon fall under world government control, completely obliterating the deep state. Before we can go forward, let's go back a little bit, shall we? Who was Donald Trump's best friend in his midlife? JFK Jr.? Yep, you guessed it. The son of the man that started all this. JFK Jr. knew, and Hillary killed him for it. Trump had to be furious. It's rumored that Trump knew well before 2015 of the Q operation, but for argument's sake, let's assume he didn't. So in saying that, in 2015, the good guys knew it was do or die time. They needed a champion, someone who could take it all on and win. Someone who could win and win big over the corrupt voting systems. Someone that was famous enough to take on the Clinton machine, but he had to do it on his own publicly. Trump knew all about the rigged voting systems. Look at this excerpt from the Washington Compost about Trump having 88 generals supporting him in the 2016 election. Q drop 14, an excerpt from it. Are you seeing it yet? Trump accepted and won big. That's why you saw after 2016 the media suddenly turn on him. They never thought she would lose. If Hillary had won, it would have been the end to the United States of America as we know it. Most of us would be dead by now from imprisonment, internment camps, or they would have tried to reprogram us with re-education camps. That's why the white hats, the good guys, knew this was now or never. Barack was the starter. Hillary was the finisher. But Trump happened and ruined it all. In 2016, so many dark ops were ran, and Trump took control of the levers of government quickly. So much happened behind the scenes that books will be written about it in the coming years. But where do the Q drops fit into all of this, you say? Well, let me tell you. At that time in 2016, Trump had a choice to make. Do I utilize the military to take full-blown control of the deep state and round them up and arrest them all? An excerpt for Q Post 142. No, he couldn't do that. The public wasn't ready for it. There would have been mass chaos, rioting in the streets, etc. The world was still too inundated into the matrix and unaware of all the crimes against humanity and still trusted them. It would have cost too many lives and too much chaos. So how do we achieve the results we need? That's where you step in, the Anons. Trump knew that he had to get the majority of America to wake up to all the evilness in the world. It's time for you, the person reading this, to take the oath and join the greatest civil military operation in history. Will you answer the call? The general did.
I, Jack Flynn,
do solemnly swear
that
I will support and defend
the
Constitution of the United States
Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely,
that I take this obligation freely,
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties
of
the office on which I am about to enter.
the office of which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Where we go one, we go all.
Where we go one, we go all.
God bless America.
God bless America.
Q Post 4511, the greatest military civilian alliance ever. Where we go one, we go all. Now that you have made the decision to take the oath and defend your country, let's dive more into the Q-op as you need more history before you step out into the battlefield. Back to the history. So as you see, he had to first take out the deep state's biggest weapon, the mainstream media. Do you remember when he coined the term fake news? Yeah, that's why. He had to cut off the brainwashing to the masses. Trump knew this was the slow, painful way to go, but the road with the least casualties. The Q-op team knew they had to do something extraordinary to wake the people up. Thus, the Q was created. They needed someone to spread the message to the masses. But information needed to come organically. Q could not give us all the info. The truth is learned and never told. They needed somewhere with critical thinkers. But where would they find these people with these unique skill sets to be able to figure all this out with snippets of information? Let's keep going as we're about to get into the birth of the Q movement. On October 28, 2017, an anonymous entity known as Q started posting on a website called 4chan on the dark web. These people on the message board were full of degenerates, full of porn, etc. But this board also had conspiracy theorists posting for years, people connecting dots, etc. The perfect place for the Q team to hide for a bit, while dropping us crumbs to figure out the pieces to the puzzle. As time went on, Q kept posting intel that only military or people within Trump's inner circle could know. Authentic pics from inside Air Force One, etc. Anons, short for anonymous posters, started putting two and two together and figured out this Q entity was indeed legit. But as you read the Q posts, you ask why so cryptic, so many codes, etc. These below were the very first Q posts. So you say, how could all this be real? Is everything I know a big lie? Is my history a lie? In short, yes, absolutely. Remember that feeling I talked about in my first post? It was right. Your gut was right all along. Now the question is, why so cryptic? The short answer is that the Q team had to avoid breaking national security laws. That would have effectively ended the operation right then and there. So we had to dig on information. Q asked questions and we answered after we dug. But you ask, how did we know it was the Q team posting? The boards had a unique identifier called a trip code that had to be inputted before every post. Only the operator knew it. Not even the board owners knew it. So that created validity and security for the time being. An example below. And every time Q changed the trip code, Q would let us know by posting first under the old one first. Below is a video displaying what we call Q proofs. Events that track back to let us know Q is legit and real. I wouldn't go any further till you watch this video by Anon55 on X.
Trump made a very ominous and dark speech about the decline of America, and while doing so, music began playing, and the music sounded exactly like a song called WWG1WGA, where we go one, we go all.
The former president of the United States, who wants to be the next president, is now directly spreading the slogans of the conspiracy cult QAnon.
Trump has posted or reposted more than 100 messages linked to QAnon since the beginning of the year.
The crux of the theory is this belief that you are secretly saving the world from this satanic cult of pedophiles and cannibals. Does that sound like something you are behind?
Well, I haven't heard that, but is that supposed to be a bad thing or a good thing? I mean, you know, if I can help save the world from problems, I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to put myself out there. And we are, actually.
QAnon. It is this theory that Democrats are a satanic pedophile ring and that you are the savior of that. Now, can you just once and for all state that that is completely not true and that disavow QAnon in its entirety?
I know nothing about QAnon. They are very strongly against pedophilia, and I agree with that. I mean, I do agree with that, and I agree with it.
But there's not a satanic pedophile cult being run by.
I know nothing
You don't
about
know that? Okay.
No, I don't know
you
that.
Just this
neither
week.
do you know that.
When this country is gone, the rest of the world would follow. The rest of the world would follow. That's the importance of this country.
On January 29, 2018, an Anon asked Q if Trump could work the phrase tip-top into his State of the Union speech as a shout-out to Anons. Instead, Trump said it at the 2018 Easter egg roll with the white rabbit from Alice in Wonderland standing next to him.
Keep this incredible house or building or whatever you want to call it, because there really is no name for it. It is special. And we keep it in tip-top shape. We call it sometimes tippy-top shape. And it's a great, great place.
Q has used the phrase Alice in Wonderland in posts. Trump didn't just fulfill an Anon's request, he pointed at Q. An Anon requested a hashtag Obamagate tweet from Trump, and Trump posted Obamagate without the hashtag. On April 12, 2018, Q posted Twitter down. Exactly 1 year later, on April 12, 2019, Twitter went down. The same day that Twitter went down, the NSA posted a picture of a Q on their Twitter page. This is important because Q has referred to the NSA in posts. On November 8, 2017, Trump posted a picture on Twitter with everyone giving a thumbs up. When an image is posted on Twitter, it's given a random file name when it's uploaded. If you connect the tips of the thumbs, it makes a Q, plus the file name for the image says do it Q at the beginning and ends with a Q. Q used plus signs to represent the puppet masters in a post. The House of Saud, the Rothschilds, and Soros. On November 6, 2017 at 5:07 and 57 seconds, Q posted, "Nothing is random, everything has meaning, plus plus plus." 7 minutes later, Trump posted on Twitter and the tweet had plus 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 at the end, just like the Q post. 50 minutes later, Trump tweets about Saudi Arabia. The plus 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 in the Q post represented the House of Saud. On November 11, 2017, Q said that one side of the triangle had been removed, referring to Saudi Arabia, and that the other sides are falling.
In the last few months, the Crown Prince, the now Crown Prince, Mohammed bin Salman, has consolidated power and pushed out several other leading candidates for the Saudi throne. The 32-year-old bin Salman has made public statements about not only fighting terrorism, but also modernizing Saudi Arabia and tackling corruption. And the Trump administration counts him as a valuable ally.
Remarkable times in Saudi Arabia, the hugely influential Sunni Muslim kingdom. There's been an unprecedented anti-corruption purge with sweeping arrests of senior politicians and business leaders and members of the royal family.
Among those princes, military officers and top officials that were arrested in the last 24 hours, Prince Walid bin Talal. He's one of the world's richest men, a major investor in Citibank, Twitter, and the parent company of Fox News, 21st Century Fox. He's also somebody who has publicly feuded with President Trump, and President Trump has accused him of trying to buy U.S. politicians.
These are incredible times in Saudi Arabia. There's never been anything quite like it. And in some ways, it's very exciting. His supporters are saying this is the man who's going to lead us to the future, who's setting the stage for a modern economy, a modern society, and jobs for all the millions of Saudis who are pouring out of schools and universities. Others, though, especially the older guard, are extremely worried.
We're particularly pleased to be selling the jewels of Hannah de Rothschild. The jewels that we're selling, which comprise a magnificent pearl and diamond tiara and a bracelet and matching brooch.
Billionaire George Soros is handing control of his $25 billion empire to his son, Alex. His son, Alex, is 37 years old. In an interview with the Wall Street Journal over the weekend, he said he's more political than his father, and he hinted at a significant financial role for the Soros organization in next year's U.S. elections.
Aviation call signs are unique identifiers assigned to aircraft, like a nickname, but the call sign doesn't have to be the same for every flight. In 2018 there were civil and military aircraft spotted flying with the call sign Q, or Anon. The United Parcel Service, the U.S. Army, and the U.S. Air Force. There was even a Royal Australian Air Force spotted flying with the call sign Anon. On December 7, 2018, Trump jumped on Air Force One to fly to Kansas. When Air Force One was wheels up, the call sign popped up as Q0. The fact that there was a Q in the call sign was big, but the question was, what did the 0 mean? After the flight, Q confirmed that Q0 means Q+. That means Trump was flying with the call sign Q+. The reason that's big is because Anons think Trump is the person that posted on the Intel board as Q+. Not only does that point to Q, but it points to Trump being Q+. On October 2, 2018, Q posted 5347 by itself. On November 6, 2018, the U.S. Senate election results were 5347. Q called the Senate votes a month in advance. On January 13, 2018, Q posted checkmate, which is a victory in chess. In 2024, Trump posted a hashtag by itself. In chess the hashtag means checkmate. On October 5, 2018, Q posted, "The picture will be the signifier," and dropped the link to an account with the handle, QAnon Baby.
They respect us. That's more important. Look at that beautiful baby. Look at that beautiful baby. Wow, what a baby. What a baby. That is a beautiful baby. That's like from an advertisement. Look how happy that baby is. So beautiful. Thank you, darling. That's really nice. It's a great thing. Is that your husband? That's a great thing. Thank you. Congratulations, husband. Man. What a picture. But we're going to have the country all set.
On July 17, 2019, Trump stopped in the middle of his speech to point out a baby, took a picture with his hands and said, "What a picture." When the camera pulled back, the baby had a big Q on their back. This happened on the 17th day of the month. Q is the 17th letter of the alphabet. On October 10, 2019, Trump posted a video on Twitter. At the 1 minute and 34 second mark, Q baby pops up. If you hold the 1, and add the 3 and 4, you get 17. The GOP hearing on the DOJ's investigation into the Clinton Foundation was set for December 5, 2018. Q started dropping D5 in posts like something big was going to happen. On November 30, 2018, George Bush Sr. died. His funeral date was set for December 5, 2018, and the GOP hearing was cancelled. On December 3, 2018, Q asked what the odds are that the Bush funeral would be on December 5th, and pointed us to the empirical rule. Then Q posted, "Postponed, well played Deep State, please allow us to counter." Q's promise to counter had Anons wondering if something was going to happen at the funeral. That's when the secret envelopes came into play. Cameras just happened to be in the perfect positions.
After 1989, President Bush said, and it's a phrase that I often use myself, that we needed a new world order.
Pick the people to run those agencies and the deputies that are pledging allegiance to the new world order and good governance. And then I think you have the Inspector General do some spot audits to make sure that there is real compliance.
The burdens of global citizenship continue to bind us together. Partnership and cooperation among nations is not a choice. It is the only way, the one way.
Things like technological change, things like mass media, things like the market are all subject to our control.
Since then, we established a liberal world order. And now is the time when things are shifting. There's going to be a new world order out there.
Look, I think that everyone is going to have to take a hard look at where they want to be at this moment in history, as we're looking at efforts across the country to prevent people from being able to exercise their fundamental rights.
The chair declares the joint session dissolved.
Where's the concern for the United States in that?
Well, it's not my concern.
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order.
On December 11th, 2017, Q posted, "Follow the wives." All the envelopes were delivered to the wives. And Anon asked Q what was in the envelopes. Q answered, "Our promise to counter." In 2020, Anon made a D5 connection. A declassified memorandum for the Director of National Intelligence, about the unmasking of General Flynn. The document's date is the 4th of May. 4 equals D, and May equals 5. Q replied, they thought it meant December 5th. On February 22, 2018, Q posted, "Fight, fight, fight." Q only posted that one other time in over 4,000 posts. When Trump was shot, and had Secret Service covering him, not knowing if there were more shooters, he broke protocol to put his head and fist up to say, "Fight, fight, fight." If he was going to die, he wanted those to be his last words.
Each of you enters service at a truly exciting time for our country. For we are witnessing the great reawakening.
With this strategy, we are calling for a great reawakening of America.
Now we are calling for a great reawakening of nations, for the revival of their spirits, their pride, their people, and their patriotism.
On September 19, 2017, Trump called for a great reawakening of nations in his UN speech. On October 6, 2017, Trump said it was the calm before the storm, and on October 28, 2017, Q dropped the first post.
You guys know what this represents? Well, maybe it's the calm before the storm.
What's the storming?
Could be the calm before the storm.
What storm is
We have the world's great military people in this room, I will tell you that. And we're going to have a great evening. Thank you all for coming. Thank you.
What storm, Mr. President?
You'll find out. You guys know what this represents? And somebody that's been with me from day one, he's a real general. You know, we have the real generals, and we have the fake woke generals that did so poorly in Afghanistan, should have all been fired. But this is a real general, Keith Kellogg. Right, Keith? And this is a great group. It's good to see you, Keith. He's been with me from before day one, right? He said, that guy should run. We got to get him to run. I like those guys. They were here before I ran. You know, there's quite a few of them. General Flynn, along with General Kellogg and some of our other friends. We have so many friends. We have over 200 generals and admirals supporting us now. We had 17 Congressional Medal of Honor winners endorse me. When I first came here, I was only in Washington 17 times in my life.
On December 9, 2017, at 10:34, Q posted a quote thanking the military. Then Q pointed us to timestamps, and let us know a proof was incoming. 3 hours later Trump tweeted the exact same thing without the quotation marks. Q quoted Trump's Army-Navy game tweet 3 hours before he posted it. On February 22, 2019, Q posted the best is yet to come.
My fellow Americans, for our movement, for our children, and for our beloved country. And I say this, despite all that's happened, the best is yet to come.
For we still believe that the best is yet to come.
On June 13, 2020, Q posted, "Seeing is believing. Sometimes you can't tell the public the truth, you must show them. Only then will people find the will to change. It had to be this way. This is not another 4-year election. 2020 to 2024 has been called the pause. Let the deep state steal 2020, and let the people see for themselves." In 2022, Trump confirmed it.
One of the important factors of the pause is that we see how bad they've done. So we will be able to do it properly, and it will be much easier. Everybody will agree with us because everybody sees what a bad job has been done during this 2-year period, and it will be a 4-year period. Everybody sees that. It will be much easier for us to do what has to be done.
Those text messages were sent from the wife of Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas. I looked at past inaugurations as far back as George Bush. Not once did the military walk up and stand behind the president. The man on the right is a judge advocate general, and the man on the left is military intelligence. What Trump says when they're standing behind him is also important.
Today's ceremony, however, has very special meaning. Because today, we are not merely transferring power from one administration to another, or from one party to another, but we are transferring power from Washington, D.C., and giving it back to you, the people.
On November 1, 2017, Q posted, "The only way is the military, once 11.3 verifies as first marker." Some people assumed it was an arrest date, but they were way off. 11.3 is a section in the DoD Law of War Manual discussing belligerent occupation of a country. End of occupation and duration of Geneva Convention obligations. The status of belligerent occupation ends when the conditions for its application are no longer met. Certain Geneva Convention obligations with respect to occupied territory continue for the duration of the occupation after the general close of military operations. End of occupation. Belligerent occupation ceases when the conditions for its application are no longer met. In particular, as discussed below, the status of belligerent occupation ceases when the invader no longer factually governs the occupied territory or when a hostile relationship no longer exists between the state of the occupied territory and the occupying power. Belligerent occupation ends when the occupying power no longer has effectively placed the occupied territory under its control. For example, an uprising by the local population may prevent the occupying power from actually enforcing its authority over occupied territory. Similarly, the occupying power's expulsion or complete withdrawal from the territory would also suffice because the former occupying power generally would not be able to control sufficiently the occupied territory. Rest in peace, Mr. President, JFK. Through your wisdom and strength, since your tragic death, patriots have planned, installed, and by the grace of God, activated the beam of light. We will forever remember your sacrifice. May you look down from above and continue to guide us as we ring the bell of freedom, and destroy those who wish to sacrifice our children, our way of life, and our world. We, the people. This has never been attempted before. The use of the general public to counter the propaganda push by the controlled media. Analysis indicates that situational awareness of the general public is expanding at a massive pace. Attacks indicate the loss of generalized information control by the mainstream media, military, and civilian alliance.
People should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of their people.
The American populace is facing an unconventional warfare scenario. This is information warfare.
I could go on and on with Q proofs, but like I said earlier, the truth is learned and never told. A lot of people are asking now, how was Q foretelling all these events years before they happened? I'll answer this question with another question. Do you know what the outcome is of a movie if you are directing the movie? If you have control of all the information, can you direct? Yep, that's a hard one to grasp. Many Anons still struggle with that one. Q says over and over, patriots are in control, but not everything is under control. Watch the excerpt from Real Justice with Real AF Patriot. Myself and we know from X to sum it up.
Into reading those scriptures and making sure that we understood them.
All right. I got a question for you. As far as the Q operation, are you... I'm not entirely sure. Are you a full control guy? And if so, what do you consider full control? Because some of us have a little bit of a different opinion on that.
What do you mean full control?
As if basically, I mean, not only the Patriots being in full control of the media, which you kind of alluded to earlier with the 17%, but also kind of like everything's already happened. All the investigations have already happened. And everything is kind of just being shown to us now in a methodical way.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah. What do I think about that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good question.
I don't want to get you in trouble.
No. Not trouble. No. I mean, yeah, we're having a dialogue now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, I'm all on board with the Q drops. I'm also fully aware that Dan Scavino, President Trump, and some others, when they post stuff and we look at their timestamps, they're continuing to talk to us directly. And they're letting us know what's going on behind the scenes. And they're doing the best they can. If we had full control, then why would President Trump come out and start screaming with cuss words that they don't know what blank they're doing? Why would all of a sudden this rogue missile go up in the air and all of a sudden you've got this country that wants to go demolish a whole city because of one missile going up in the air? Who shot that missile? Why? Yeah. Where did it come from? Who controls that part? Was it part of some movie that we're supposed to believe? If we were part of some movie, then how come people died in Afghanistan when we were withdrawn from there? If we're in full control, then you're telling me full control means that we allowed those people to die? Are you following me? My method with this? So I'm not on a boat of it's all scripted out. It's just a complete movie. I think that we could be watching a movie in a sense of, yes, there are controlled parts to throw off the enemy that has still some control of some aspects of what's going on. And they're getting thrown off to an extent that they have no clue who's wearing a mask and who's not wearing a mask. We could talk about that for hours. We could get into Biden. We can get into that whole system of, okay, there are guys out there saying, hey, I forgot his name, but there's a guy that does a great job in saying, look at these military drops showing that President Trump kept the continuity of government and that Biden was never in charge, that President Trump was actually the president behind the scenes. I struggle with those. It's not like I'm fully on board and go, oh, that's it. Yep, that's it. That's what's going on. I'm actually still on that side of, man, I need to keep researching because I'm not really sure how this thing is playing out. Mm-hmm. I'm going to do the best I can to get information out and not be dogmatic about it, but say, hey, I'm still trying to do my research. What I am dogmatic about is if anybody out there who has big followers on social media platforms start saying, well, I don't think I'm going to vote for Trump anymore. Oh, Trump made a mistake by picking this person. Oh, Trump should have never done that. I start warning people like, man, if you're going to start doing that and going against the guy who's running the show here and has the intel guys behind him doing it all, that's where I struggle with, hey, don't go that far with me because that's where I'm very dogmatic. I really believe President Trump was sent by our Heavenly Father. I don't worship the guy. I talk about it all the time, right? How many times have we said we don't worship this guy? He's human, and he'll make mistakes too. Moses made mistakes. We don't worship Moses. Moses, what did he do? He got angry and took that stick and hit the rock, and he wasn't allowed to go into the promised land because he had an attitude problem. He messed up one time, So hopefully that helps answer a little bit. We can go deeper that if you want, but that's kind of a surface level answer.
I want to interject something here. I think that we have control to a certain point. I don't think we have full control over everything. There's still rogue actors out there. People are going to make decisions. I think that we have control over some of the media, and I think that stuff is leaked out. It's got to be controlled release, right? Because it would put 99% of the people in the hospital. Yep. So a lot of people say that President Trump's assassination attempt was staged. I don't believe that at all whatsoever. No. I think that was God intervened in that because, he is chosen to save this nation. Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of with you on that. I know some of my peeps out there are full control. I think it is to a certain point. Yep. I think that Trump has all the information and he can direct things as he needs to. Yep. But having everybody under control, I don't believe that either. I think it's to a certain point.
Yeah, try to control 5 kids in my house.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
That's my first thought. It's like, okay, you think that they have control over this entire earth and 9 billion people and they can find out every tunnel that every single person's in and every gadget that they have to use against us? Oh, no. It's like the weather manipulation folks are talking about. Yeah, what about the weather manipulation? If he had a button he could push for every single person in like on a video game and just go and start shooting them all out. Okay, then yeah, we're talking about full control. But no, like you said there with the whole thing with the assassination attempt, I've watched so many videos of his ear. They turns to the right and boom, you got that scrape that goes right across his ear. Mm-hmm. That's not AI generated. Number one. Number two, people were killed there. They died.
Right.
And the other thing is, how come the media went hush hush? They showed up all of a sudden. The media showed up one day for his whole speech that day out of all days. because they were looking forward to what they were told behind the scenes. This is the day. And then that happens. And the next thing you know, what do? They squash it and they don't want to talk about it. And they don't want to, all the proof is coming out that it wasn't from that one kid, that there were some things happening behind the scenes on the water tower. And the more we start digging, then people are coming to us saying, hey, do you guys have the information? Because we know we can't trust the mainstream media. We're just trying to do the best we can to gather what everybody else is gathering. Mm-hmm. And then we're like, okay, let's piece this together and get it out to the people to say, look, let me show you what's going on. Let me show you why this doesn't add up. What do you guys think? And it gets us to think about these things. Man, we didn't have, imagine if we would have had this for 9/11. Mm-hmm. The ability to communicate with each other in social media and go, hold on a second. Because I fell for the whole thing. All I had was the media. Yep. That's all I had. And so I believed everything they told me. And I was like, all behind, let's go. We're going to go attack them. They attacked our country. Let's go. Man, now that I know more and more of the truth, and even President Trump alludes to that, yeah, something strange about that 9/11. Yeah, we need to get to the bottom of that. He's really careful about how he talks about it. But he knows what's going on. He knows what happened. But can he just come out and go, guys, I want to tell you all the truth. We're going to lay it out today. And we're going to spend 10 hours and tell you everything. He can't do that.
No, absolutely not.
No.
So, go ahead.
No. Our Rumble link is here to our channel. But let's get back to the original point to all of this. This operation was to wake up the masses to the corruption. So when it comes time, as you are witnessing today, to drain the swamp, the people will be on his side, rooting him on. This was not possible in 2017. Can you see it now, why it had to be this way? Q Post 4951. This is a brief synopsis of what Q is. It's not really a deep dive into all the insane outs of all the Q posts, but I will give you a brief synopsis on how Anons come up with their decodes and who to decode in part 2.